It is a, but he,
Don't ask what just happened. It's not.
We're very curious.
It's one of those portal things when you put two portals looking at each other and you get the whole, yeah. So how are you all doing?
we're doing great.
So I hear we have about 140 people in here, I think, up from the expected 110 or so,
That's awesome.
which is, so it's like a Spokane year, you know, basically.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So you have some announcements first, is that right?
Go ahead, Frank.
What are our announcements?
I'll start.
Okay, you go.
So we have a bunch of different things that we've been working on. We've been really working on abduction, but there's also this other stuff just on the side that we've just tried to give back to the community a little bit more. So we're working with this company right now called Cook & Becker, and we're going to hopefully release high quality prints around the anniversary of Myst. So you'll be able to go and get these archival prints of Myst scenes through them. That's just one of the fan things that we want to do. We're also working on a store because everybody wants other T-shirts and other swag. I know that the mug is really popular, so we're working on that too.
Which one?
Well, Myst mug or abduction mug or whatever.
We haven't had a store in a long time.
We won't probably host it. It'll probably be some sort of dropship store, but at least we'll get, again, the community to have some stuff that they can wear and fun stuff like that.
And drink out of.
Yeah. And you saw the abduction T-shirts have started to come out. Still working with our distributor on that, but we're happy that they got sent out. So.
I understand there's a puzzle on the shirts of some sort.
What? We can either confirm or deny any puzzle anywhere on the shirt.
So that's a Cyan yes, everyone.
Just don't spend too much time on it.
Another really cool thing is I'd rather just kind of get some of this stuff out of there right away because we know you guys are going to ask us about it. We're in active talks about Myst 3 and Myst 4, getting that up on Steam. This is closer than we've probably ever been. And now we're kind of running into some tech hurdles, but we hope that that will happen soon, I guess. I mean, we
always hope it'll happen soon.
But we're getting the right people to talk to, and it's really, really positive. Very, very positive, so. Yeah, that's about it for announcements ourselves. I know there's a lot of questions, so if you could open it up, we'll just start answering anything that we can.
So, and we should introduce ourselves briefly so you know what kind of questions you want to ask. You want us to do that?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Blake, you start.
I'm Blake. I'm one of the new hires, environment artists.
Good enough.
I'm Rand Miller, CEO. I'm Carl Johnson. I'm a programmer here at Cyan.
I'm Eric. I'm the art director on Abduction.
Ryan Wazuka, producer on Abduction.
Carl Johnson. I'm a programmer here at
Bob.
Can you see?
Man.
Can you see Raul back there?
Yeah, we can see Raul.
Okay. You know how he is hiding in the background. All right. Tell us if he fades, if he starts moving that way on that sofa back there to get out of the picture.
Well, it's that duck knee of his. He needs to sit on the sofa.
Right.
Okay, so if there are any questions people would like to ask, form a line at that microphone up here. And then introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Keshwin, and I was wondering, since you're planning on trying to get more things on Steam, if there's any possibility that you might also incorporate Linux support.
Carl, do you want to? I mean, I'm Carl. I'll take that. Well, I'll take part of it, and then Carl can do some of it. So, yes, we want to do Linux support, but it's a lot dependent on the Unreal Engine and somewhat dependent on us. So, because of that, I'm not sure the exact timing, but right now our plans are to support it as much as Unreal does.
I think the question was also in regards to some of the older titles, which are
Oh, sorry. That is a different question. That's hard.
Yeah, it really kind of, there's a lot of things to think about there. It's like, how long will it take us to make it happen? User base, how many would we actually sell? Does it make a lot of sense financially? And there's just a bunch of stuff with that.
So some of the details too are Myst 3 and Myst 4. If they, once we go into those, or once we start selling those, we'd be without any source. So we'd be looking at tools to get those over to Linux. In terms of I guess the current game, Abduction, I've had a Linux build, so I can tell you that while not everything ran perfectly, it's something that we're definitely looking at. In terms of the legacy games, it's something we really haven't been actively working toward, mostly because we're working on this big project now. So yeah, I imagine as some time frees up, we're going to be looking at tools and getting that stuff over.
And I think with a lot of the legacy games, we're really looking at Android first before we do anything else, correct?
It's always one of those things where it's like, how much?
How much we need more people. And, and because of that, we need more money and more resources. It's like we're stretched, but we're trying really hard to push this as much as we can. So, without belaboring it,
Whoever just came in, we can't see them.
Oh,
Hey,
it's not Gara.
Michael DeGuerra.
Well, we can see his knee. That's the important.
I can see.
Get this way. No.
Which way are you
I'm going to turn it this way.
don't lose weight.
All right.
We're moving.
Better?
Okay, you're good. You're good. That's perfect.
Boom.
Real technology.
As long as no one else comes in, you're fine.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm just standing behind this.
Next question.
Next question.
Hey, thank you guys so much for being here. I was wondering if you had any news or updates or could give us any information about the upcoming Myst-based TV show.
Yes. I wish I could give you concrete stuff, but again, we're further along now than we've ever been. That means we're in uncharted territory. We've actually been down and talked to people in Hollywood a couple times, and potential writing stuff and potential story stuff, and some of it's exciting and some of it's I don't know how it works, and so we're trying to dampen our excitement because previous times we've been down this road, things just don't all hit together, and that Hollywood voodoo, as you guys have heard me talk about before. But further along than we've been. We've seen some proposals for stories that are kind of interesting, that some of you will really like and some of you will really hate. Just be open-minded. But honestly, it is interesting trying to get this done and talking with people who, by the way, the core people who are doing this and are really excited and are getting this done in Hollywood are big fans. So that's a really cool thing that we're excited about as well.
Is there a line there, or? For once, no one has a question.
Sweet. Okay.
Oh, wait. There's someone.
Oh.
There's someone with a question. You have a nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Fox. This is probably kind of an old news question that may have been answered at some point in the past. Is there any chance of a Book of Merum at any point in the future?
It would not be a Q&A session without a question about the book.
I kind of figured.
I'm in the bingo
Glad
club.
you did that. It's like, I don't know what would happen. Like the universe would fold in upon itself if nobody asked about the Book of Merum. Well, we've got it completely finished. It's done. I've polished it. I've rewritten it like 17 times. I just don't think it's quite ready yet. So I'm going to hold on to it for probably a few more years or decades or something, and then we'll see if the world is ready for it.
He said 3 years. Someone said a calendar day.
Yeah, seriously, it's just one of those, as Robin described it, way on the back burner thing, but still close to our hearts. Thanks for asking.
Anything on the stream? We have some stream questions, which Tension will read into another.
Hello, can you hear me? All right, hello. So in line with the book question, Rand, have you played Myst 3 or 4 yet?
I'm waiting for them to be on Steam.
Oh, so that's why it's delayed.
I have played bits and pieces of them. 4 is hard. 4 is harder because I'm like afraid to see me in 4. I really am afraid to see me. Yeah.
We have a follow-up.
Is it true that when you heard Atris saying things like try moving the slider or try adjusting the amplitude, you actually said, "Shut up, Atris"?
If I didn't say it, I thought it. Yeah, it was kind of bizarre, actually, when I played that first part. And this voice keeps like, I need more volume, less volume, more volume, no, less volume, no, frequency, lower, higher. It's like, oh. Yeah.
It's kind of how it feels developing games.
It's a lot like that. I feel like that here at the office. I tell them what to do, and they're like, shut up. Eric, I need more green, no less green, no more red, no less red. Shut up.
We have a question.
Hi. We have those of us who do the language have a question for Rawa. Does he have one new word for Mysterium 2015?
No. Come on. You may not come prepared. Yeah, not prepared for that.
Can you tell us the meaning of the word?
He's going to make it up, and he'll tell you the meaning later.
No, that's not going to happen.
Can you use it in a sentence?
He didn't even bring his computer that has, the glossary.
All the secrets.
Yeah.
Sorry, I failed you.
Rawa. Can you?
Well, that just ruined Mysterium. Let's all go home and.
Hi, I just had a quick question related to releasing games on Steam. Are you guys going to release Hex Isle on Steam, or is it?
It is definitely something we've talked about internally, and yeah, we'd love to. We'd love to put that on Steam.
Most of the stuff that isn't released is either for technical reasons. I mean, we have nothing against getting our stuff out there. It's either for technical reasons or for licensing ownership reasons, and it's one of those two things. And I think Hexile is more the licensing ownership thing. So, as soon as possible.
Thanks. Thank you.
Hello.
My question is actually related to abduction, and basically, I'm just wondering if you have any interest on basically expanding the universe of that game the same way you did with the Myst.
Yeah, we have interest. And part of developing abduction is kind of filling in the backstory and the things that go along with it. Abduction feels like it's been kind of a tighter development. We've worked fast and hard, even though Myst had probably less people. So I don't know that we had time to write a novel that goes before it, but there is a lot of backstory and things that you guys won't see. I think some of it will depend, much like Myst, on how successful it is. And I had to say, Myst is definitely was at the right place at the right time to give it that success that kind of allowed the other stories to come out, the surrounding story and history to come out. So we would love that. We'd like nothing more than abduction to be huge, and we can tell all of the surrounding stories and all the details about what it is. But the smaller part of that question that's more interesting is, yeah, there's a bigger universe there.
We're going to take a stream question next, and we'll get back to this line.
Okay. We have, so going back to the TV series, what will the accompanying game for the TV series be like? Will it be a mini game or a full game like Myst?
Wow. So you can only imagine that, the conference room here that we're in now, we have lots of discussions along that line. And I don't know that it's been decided for sure. We kind of want to get over the hump of just locking down the TV stuff for sure and making sure that's all in line before we approach that. And we've discussed both of those things, so it's a great question. We discussed that whole second screen thing, like what should it do? What do we want to do if you're watching something on TV that's really interesting and you want to pay attention to it? A lot of times what we discussed is, well, I look at my phone if the thing on TV isn't that interesting, like little Angry Birds while I'm watching Survivor, whatever. But we don't want to take away from the first screen. And so we have these really interesting discussions about what that means and who's done it well, if anyone, and how much influence you can have on the first screen and what kind of clues you can put in there, because that's a whole different department of writers that do those things. And so it's fun, and you guys would have exactly the same exercises that we have about that in trying to decide how that would all work as a smaller type mini game. And then there's the big, there should be a giant cool Myst game to go with it too. All that is TBD, and some of it is not necessarily in our hands. It'll just be how it all kind of flows.
Hi, language question here, but this time about the borrow language. I'm not going to ask for words or anything, but I just want to know, for a friend of mine who works a lot with languages and stuff, how much of the borrow language did you develop for Uru and Myst 5? And how much of it have you kept behind the scenes, and how much of it is still waiting to be revealed? Or
Very, very little. Very little. We have not been very successful in translating a lot of borrow language. It could be really complex and yeah, interesting. It's an interesting language. Yeah.
I gotta hear that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
At least you figured out the snake thing before anything bad happened.
Hi there. I have a question about Unwritten, the Myst tabletop RPG. Have you all looked at it and or played it or anything?
Definitely looked at it. I have not played that. We've been talking about in-house trying to get a game going at some point. Maybe with an Ellery's around or something like that.
Yeah, we could use a good unwritten DM. That'd be very great.
Well, as a unwritten beta tester DM, I'd be happy to volunteer.
Oh, nice.
You really should try it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've talked about it quite a bit. Almost all of us have looked at it. We're just waiting for the right time to make sure we get the best experience. So yeah, come on out to Spokane. See what we can do.
Hello, I'm Church 99, and first off, I just wanted to say thank you for being here with us for Mysterium and everything. It really makes us feel more connected to the game and to you guys out there and to each other and everything. So thank you for everything that you guys do. I know that I speak to many other people who are not here in this room today, and I had many people who wanted me to drop lines and say hi to the lady Mara who wanted a piece of your shoe, Rand, apparently, at a Spokane. I don't know if you remember that. Oh, she asked somebody else to get a piece of your shoe. And Chris Gear says hi to Rawa in the background there for New Waves. And thank you for everything, for the languages and the numbers and everything. It really just gets us very involved in it. We've used it many times to joy and frustration, I think, for everybody in the room for many of those things. A question that we kind of generally have is, do you have a general timetable for Abduction so we kind of know when we should really be looking for the game release or pieces of it? Or
Okay, yeah, we have a general timetable. So it's going to be a little late. But that actually is a good thing. It's not so. Let's see how. I think we had this all phrased how we were going to do this exactly. We've got some pending stuff that that's happening like now, and even as we speak, that we're trying to do to make things better, make this game better, and making a game better makes it take a little longer. That's a good thing in our mind. I hope that's a good thing in your mind. But not a lot longer, because we don't want to go crazy and let it languish. So, but we can't really talk about it right now. But we wish we could. Hopefully soon, we will get into this, and that'll be kind of fun for us. I know that's kind of mysterious and mystical, and sorry about that, but it's actually all pretty good. So
it's a very positive thing that's going on right now. It's just great. We had hoped to have that announcement for today, but it's just not in the cards quite yet. So.
Okay, fair enough. We're all very excited about it. I do have a follow-up question also. Is it too late for new people to get involved in the Kickstarter and maybe to get registration and access to the game?
Yeah, we locked down the Kickstarter backer access a couple months ago now. Again, with all this other stuff that's happening, we might have some sort of pre-order or something like that coming down the pipe, but we have to wait till we can announce all that stuff. So,
but all the work stuff is pretty much locked down at this point, because we don't have time to try to get new stuff submitted and then build it, get it in the game, etc.
Yeah, I'm sure Rand would just take 10 grand if you had that. You'd be rewarded with compliments.
Send it, we'll do dinner.
We might have a T-shirt or two.
I'm going to do a stream question. Yes.
So stream question. Back to the TV series. Will there be any merchandising to go along with it, like collectible prop replicas?
Oh, I would imagine there would be, and some of it'll be related directly to the TV show. Some of it will be stuff that we do if there's renewed interest. But yeah, I would assume there'd be some. I'm hoping some pretty sweet merchandise associated with it.
Let's do a second stream question.
And I'm gonna mix these two together because they're kind of similar. Any potential plans for other games in the Myst saga, Project Copperpot? Does Cyan have more original ideas after Abduction?
We have more original ideas, and actually, I mean, to be totally honest, we think a lot about stuff in the Myst series and out of the Myst series. It's, Abduction, and we've said this, you guys know all the the line about that publicly. It was like, it was time for us to do something new with Abduction, and that started as we thought it might be a Myst series product, but I think we all feel like we got refreshed from that. So everything's open at this point. It's just what seems the most interesting and useful and fun and motivating for us. And that includes, you know, stuff in the Myst series and stuff that's completely new. Stuff with new technology, stuff with old technology. We're looking at everything. And, you know, we want to roll over onto something quickly after Abduction. Doesn't matter what it is. We'd like to get started and keep the ball rolling here.
Well, how about 2 more questions and then we'll do that thing.
Yes.
We'll do that thing.
So 2 more over here.
Shora, this is Kalamis. There's some Uru concept art and trailers that we're seeing at past Mysteria but have not been publicly released. Is there any way that those could be released to the public?
The only one that we think was the one that we didn't have the rights to the music, so that can't be released. A lot of the concept art has been released, yeah. I mean, especially with last year, we released pretty much all.
If there's anything in particular, let Ryan know, and we can look into it.
I think we kept a lot of the city stuff, but that's because of future projects and stuff. So.
Hope for future projects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if you see something in particular, though, we either will release it or we'll have a reason not to. Just let us know.
And then 1 more question.
Hi, guys. This might be astoundingly easy to answer, or a little bit difficult. I'm trying to get a custom house built, and we are, if it's in the budget, planning on reproducing some of the rooms that exist in the Myst game as close as possible. So my question to you is, in some of the original, you know, source code and design for the original game, it seems like there are a lot more everyday objects there than there were in subsequent games. Things you could find at, you know, antique stores and flea markets and things. How much of the, let's say, patterns that you created were from off-the-shelf stuff, like patterns for rugs, blankets, paintings, pictures, versus taking something and designing it all on your own and then just saying, great, that's the pattern, and off you go?
Wow. Well,
we like screen actors.
I was not expecting that question. Custom home related Myst questions are very few and far between. So Robin would need to be here to answer a lot of that, but I'll at least. So yes, you're correct. A lot of the Myst stuff was, call it off the shelf, because there wasn't really internet to Google search, and we didn't have the money to, you know, go to New Mexico and take textures there. So subsequent games kind of made use of those resources. Myst was like, oh, there's something in my yard or my shelf. Click, and let's take a picture and use that. So yeah, off the shelf. Now, as to whether we have that source stuff or it's available, if it is, it's going to be incredibly low resolution, because back in the day, I think we had Apple's quick take camera, which was like really low res, 640, 480, and compressed like crazy, or it was just stuff that would fit on a scanner. So it's probably not stuff we could send your way, not because we're opposed to it, because I'd love to see those rooms. But yeah, just lost in the whole process.
Real quick, how far are you through redesigning your home to be Myst now?
Well, the house plans are complete. Right now we're just putting stuff out to bid, but the rooms that we're eventually going to build stuff into are blank, so it's a matter of, okay, we have a blank space, and geez, that could look like Sirius's bedroom from Stone Chip Age, because it's this dimensions, it's this square, so
cool.
Everything's already planned in for that. If we can find someone to help us create it, it's just a matter of going, okay, we need this much flooring, we need this, and of course it still has to be up to code, so we have to put in a window somewhere.
Right.
But you know, it's like some way to escape.
So, but you're definitely going towards serious. Why not acting?
My wife hates all the bones and dead things and lying around.
I think I do have a high-res texture for that mattress of his in Stone Ship.
Yes. Nice. We'll see if we can squeeze you in. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Rand, do you want to?
Yeah, we got a thing. This is a little teaser, and it's early on. Please be gracious, but we wanted to show you stuff publicly that hasn't been seen kind of anywhere for abduction stuff. So this was made just for Mysterium. It says so at the beginning of it, and if we see it online, we'll know where it came from. It isn't anywhere else. So you guys get to see this, and maybe we'll play it twice. But please don't record it and put it out, because one, because we want to be careful. Some of the stuff we want to be able to show you guys and not show everyone. And two, we've got to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the other thing is, if you're one of those purists who's like, no, I want to do abduction and don't want to see anything anywhere, no spoilers, then you probably should leave the room for a while, or close your eyes at least. And it's kind of simple and it's kind of early, but at least it'll give you a little bit of feel of some of the production. There's some pre-production stuff in there still. Disclaimer, but again, keep it to yourselves, and yeah. So you guys can show that, and then we can, yeah.
For the people watching on the stream, you don't get to see it. You get to see a reaction shot of the people in the room.
We want to see the people in the room too.
One moment, this requires some setup.
Sorry, threw a wrench in the work.
Everyone ready? Has everyone left the room that wants to leave the room? Okay.
Woo!
Okay, cool.
Do you think we should watch it a second time?
Well,
Yeah, you
say
watch
that
it.
again.
Do you guys you want to do some questions first? You want to watch it again first? I figured, it's up to you guys.
We'll do some. Okay, encore first. Fine. We'll do an encore first, and then we'll do questions.
Right. Encore, then question.
No, we didn't change anything. Don't worry. Yep. Go. Come on, VLC.
I don't know once we're going to try something.
That works.
What's going on over there?
Don't ask. You don't want to.
So a lot of that has actually changed since we even recorded that. No.
Here we go. Okay, so we're going to do some questions about in general, questions. Go ahead. Well, if you don't have a question, let the next person go. Okay, while you're thinking, one of those stream questions that was left?
All right, back to the stream questions. Let's see. Going off with Abduction, will there be a soundtrack album released?
I think there will be, yes, for sure.
I mean, we're not.
I think yes, for sure.
We have to do it from factors, and yes.
Yeah. Yeah, questions are not required. And if you didn't hear earlier, Ryan said that, and Eric mentioned those, the clips that you saw in that teaser were recorded a while ago. There's been a lot of changes even since then. So,
do we have any questions? Okay, yes, go ahead.
Will there be any, hi, Cyan. I've been a big fan since 1993 and the original release of Myst and followed every genre since on most of the platforms. Awesome work. The continuity, I can see the continuity in the salute to the Myst. I can see why now you said that it was a spiritual predecessor. Can we expect to see at any point somewhere that this will go either multiplayer or on multiple platforms, like with Sony or Oculus Rift, or in the next generation consoles being released? So I guess my question is two-part. One is, what platforms can we expect it to see upon release? And pending on the success of the release, will it be ported to other platforms like we've seen in the past?
Yeah, so Mac and PC, right off the bat, I think is what we're definitely shooting for. Linux is on our short list, obviously, that we want to get in there. Beyond that, it would be great if it's successful enough and that we can go to some consoles. We already are messing around with the VR versions, and we're keeping VR in mind so that you can play the game with the VR platform of your choice. But that, again, will take a little extra time, and we don't want to slow down the main release for that. But you will see that. Yes.
Okay.
And it's kind of, yeah.
And my final question, are we going to see, with respect to, I'm going to let somebody else come up to the podium, but I'm a bit starstruck. I've met many celebrities, but I'm a bit starstruck when it comes to the Cyan team. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've met Tina Turner and Cyndi Lauper, and it didn't faze me. But when I meet Raymond and Robin Miller, that I'm stumped.
Okay, that's insane. Okay, but okay.
It's the truth. The truth is stranger than fiction. Can we see? Are we going to see any salute? I've already seen hints in the in the video footage. I've seen where you can call it the spiritual successor. Are we going to see any future tie-ins if this becomes the success or even more successful than the Myst series? Are we going to see tie-ins with some of the characters and more backdrop of the story tying in between the old Myst world and Abduction? And because what I saw in the footage even a year ago in that pre-production, some of the pre-production footage, I saw that lantern that was released last year. Was the lantern, and how devious that lantern was next to the that campfire there, and it looked almost ominous of something of Myst Island. Myst Island was brought to another, rewritten in a different age. It looked like a salute to Myst Island. I saw kind of hints of the different worlds from all of the Myst ages in some of that teaser footage.
Yeah, don't read too much into that. I think it's because we all.
It's kind of hard not to, but yeah, I was wondering what your.
Yeah, I don't think we're planning on tying anything together since it's all based on truth. I mean, of course, it could be tied together at some point in the future, but no, it's not going to be tied together in the future.
Well, thank you for your time, and thank you again for. Giving us your time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a question. Are you keeping the white dot, or are you going to bring back a hand?
Oh, those are good questions. Were you here for the discussion? We just had that the other day.
No. Probably shouldn't, but
we are in current discussions on all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, what do you guys want, the white dot or the hand? Raise the hands there.
They all want a hand.
That's what I want. I think you should be able to choose.
Yeah.
It may default to the white dot, though, just because it's nondescript.
And I'll be slightly more specific that we've actually been looking at this stuff. And we've gone through a lot of UI. We've tried, more iconography, and then, the actual hand. So at least looked into it, not necessarily full demos of these things yet. But we found all sorts of interface stuff, and we're definitely going to be trying every single thing we can conceive, in meetings or any ideas that Rand comes up with, that's what we're trying. We're trying to make sure it's right.
Whatever I say goes.
Whatever Rand says goes.
I laugh at that.
We should just put in a retro mode where you can play the whole game with the hand and it's a slideshow. And it's like 320p.
Perfect.
Like this big.
I like that.
325.
320.
That little hypercard hand. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Good catch.
Good question.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to congratulate Rawa on his splendid contribution to the trailer. I had no idea. I had no idea he was so musically inclined. Did you guys end up making him the full music director for the game, or was that just for the trailer?
That was for the trailer. Would you like to expound on your musical? He's very musically inclined. He plays at least a couple of instruments.
But nobody knows that. And
no, they know it now.
Rand was not supposed to do that.
It was with much kicking and screaming that was actually put into that teaser, because he was like, no, take that out. I was like, no, I'm not taking that out. Everybody's gonna love that, right?
Right.
So
there was much clapping if you could.
He is not our musical director, but there'll be other little snippets from Bravo.
Well, I can't wait to hear them.
Thank you.
Actually, he just asked what I was going to ask. I was curious about who's doing the music too. So since he asked my question, I'd just like to say, as a fan of Myst for many, many years, I think it's great that you guys are doing something different, and it really looks beautiful. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. The music stuff for Abduction, again, timing is a little off because we're hoping to make, an announcement. Like we put it off a long time, but we've probably got some really interesting, fun news on that in the near future. Again, we're just a little off, but stay tuned very soon.
Hi, my name is Clara. I have a question about when the Kickstarter reward pieces.
Can you?
I had a question about the Kickstarter reward pieces. Some of the backers created content for you guys to put into the game. I was wondering how that experience has been, having the backers involved to that extent.
It's been really, really good. I mean, I got most of them from backers, and it was just an email back and forth. One of our artists here went right in and started making them, and they look good.
We've got pretty much all of the backers submitted pieces complete, and they're not all in the game yet because we're trying to figure out the best place to populate the world, try to make it fit from a story perspective, but also to make sure that people who have stuff in the game can easily locate them. It's been really cool.
I'll tell you what, it's very interesting seeing what was submitted completely out of context, because it's like, I wonder where that came from. Some really interesting stuff in there that I'm sure there's some really cool stories with. So
lots of robots.
Yeah,
crazy.
5% of robots.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello. Before I ask my question, I'd like to say thank you to all of you, because I was introduced to Myst at a very young age, and I wouldn't be nearly the person I am now without it. So, thank you for that.
Very
And Abduction obviously has some sci-fi elements, such as the space pine cones. So I would like to know how prominent the space and time elements of this game are going to be, and how important they are as to solving the game.
Good question.
You don't really know that. No, the story element obviously has got that sci-fi appeal, but one of the things we did early on was not want to put that in your face at the beginning. We wanted it to feel not so tropey and so stereotypical at the beginning, and that's why there's a space pine cone, not gleaming silver flying saucer or something. But then there are other, there'll be other aspects that'll be pulled in as far as more science fiction stuff, and as far as playing with space and time, yeah, just wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'd like to ask some very specific details about this very, very hypothetical television show. No, I coming from an artistic standpoint, like I think it's kind of interesting because you guys create wonderful art for all these games. Like, what are you guys using as far as like influences while you're developing this? More specifically, are you guys like currently playing video games? Are you involved in, current releases at all, or is it just you go to work and develop all day and that's what your time is being spent on?
I think the team plays a lot of games. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Dart for a while now, and I don't know, Kickstarter. I love the Flame in Blood. There's just a bunch of things that I play. Witcher 3.
Witcher 3 is good, yeah. Was it last year? The Mansion of Ethan Carter. I thought the story was a little rough.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, but as far as environmental artwork goes, that is stunning. But there's some truth to the second part of your statement about like, it's hard to find time because we're all working really hard on this thing. So, what are you playing, Carl?
Let's see. I think I don't know how many people actually saw it, but there was a time I was doing like a Twitch stream of it's like me and Alien Isolation.
I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, so fantastic. But it's been that. End up with the Wii U, so we're playing a lot of Mario Kart and a lot of Mario Kart. But like games that I'll revisit, and I'm really interested in right now are the narrative games like Gone Home and Stanley Parable. It's been interesting, what's been coming out lately.
Blake?
I haven't really been playing much. I played some Destiny here and there.
Yeah.
I know that most of us had Fallout Shelter on our phones for a little bit there. That was crazy.
There's no end.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But I think everybody has been keeping at least an eye on what's been going on, and we have our own email group that's just for video games that are coming out, and us theory machining everything, and so it's we love video games.
Thank you.
We're going to do one quick stream question.
Okay. Can you tell us what accent Robin is using for his character in Abduction?
What accent?
Yes, correct.
It is
It's being debated.
We know the history of this guy, so it's been influenced from several places. We'll just think Texas is a little of the influence, and I thought it was Georgia as well. So he studied that accent for years before he could perfect it. Robin was actually born in Texas, so he should have a good Texas accent available on demand.
How are you guys for time?
Let's do 2 more questions.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, I have a more general kind of development question for you as a team, and I hope it's not a tired question. But at the risk of being kind of reductionist, it seems like there's some vital elements to your games, and that would be mechanics and puzzles, and then a second one would be the story, and a third one would be, of course, creating this very beautiful, immersive environment. If I were to force you to choose what is really the top priority in terms of development. As a team.
It's funny. It truly is. That's like that question is really insightful, and that's how it works. We have that tripod that we fight against, and we support our case. And it's not a fight. We know the other person. We want the other opinions, but it's it really we've got our champions of those specific.
Well, and that was a joke, but to be honest, when we're developing the spaces, to me the highest the thing that the entire world is beholden to is the game design. Like, what is the player supposed to be learning and thinking, and what's supposed to draw their attention? And it's actually not about the art; it's about the game design.
It should be about the art.
So it's we want to make stuff pretty, but we designed everything from a position of what information are we trying to convey at this moment in the game? What are we hoping is going through the player's mind?
This is hard stuff, by the way. I think it's why there's not a lot of these exploration puzzle games or whatever they're called, because it's not like the gameplay mechanics are just easy. Kill something and get its stuff so that you can kill things, which are fun. It's an achievement-based thing, but we got to wrap all those things together well every time. And yesterday again, we're going through you're on the whiteboard, another puzzle like, oh, this would be good, but it has to look good. And the puzzles, the psychology of the puzzles have to work good. And the background is like, well, why is it here and what's the story behind it? And we all care about that being a good balance, but each of us kind of sometimes, mix it up just to make sure we're watching all of those elements. That's a really good question, and we hit that every single day.
Thank you.
And so this is the last question, I think.
Hi. I'm actually wondering about. Sorry, am I doing it wrong? Oh, sorry. I'm trying to say things.
Take your time.
I'm wondering about. I'm getting distracted by the microphone. I'm wondering about Uru Live and things like that. Like, after this, are you going to do stuff related to Myst or something? After Abduction?
We're not sure. Uru Live, we're just happy that Myst Online is up and running and continues to run, with hiccups every now and then, but it's nice to have that running. Myst continues to have its own life, and hopefully, there'll be some more stuff that keeps that going. We have to just gauge how motivated we are and where that fits in our ability to make it and keep us working on things as well. But yeah, Myst Online is part of that as well.
If you got a few more questions or a few more people, we can definitely answer them. It's up to you.
Okay, yeah, we can go for about 10 more minutes on our end.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question?
Yeah.
Anyone at all? There was another stream question, right? Okay, there are apparently plenty of stream questions. Do a stream question and then.
Let's see. Are there estimated system requirements yet for Abduction?
Just what?
Yeah, right now we're going off some Unreal 4 system requirements, but as you can see in the trailer, we have a lot done, but there's also still more to do, and we really won't know until we're at the point where we're sending it to compatibility labs and stuff like that to really iron it down. But our target is whatever Unreal 4 supports is what we want to support.
I guess I would add we're definitely not targeting low-end machines. So be aware.
Save your money.
Unreal 4 is a pretty robust engine, and as such, it requires a little bit more out of your hardware. That said, it's a very scalable engine,
yes.
And so we have some very not great machines that we tested on.
Yeah, Mike, you can kind of say to this.
I've run it across a good, varied amount of video hardware, CPU hardware. I think it runs pretty good on some lower end stuff, not super low end, but decently.
Yeah, and it's not going to look like the greatest, but I mean,
yeah, it's not pretty, but it runs all right. It runs all right across a good amount of stuff. So.
And that's not optimized yet.
Yeah. A lot of
yeah.
Any audience questions? I saw someone's. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi guys. What is your favorite part of the design process for making these sorts of games?
The day it ships from me.
Okay, so I have to say this. It's hard designing this. Coming in, Rao and I every day in a room. But the most exciting part for me is just like things that happen almost impromptu. Like the other day I went into Eric's office, he was showing me something he designed. It's a light source, we'll leave it at that. And he was in the editor moving it around, and because it was cool and it was gonna work good, and then it was like, ooh, we should move this around in the game. And then Eric's like, I think we can do that. It's like, oh, wait, we're doing it. Oh, this would be a great puzzle. If we did that, oh, yeah. And so in spite of the fact that we had that in, just in the last week, it rippled down with Eric even starting with an idea that way, that kind of rippled into this great puzzle that's become, because we're kind of open to that back and forth. And I really like that part, because that's where I think some of the best stuff comes out of.
Yeah, I think our best design has come where we've watched somebody play it, or we've been in there, we've discussed, and then we've gone back and we've re-looked at the puzzle. Okay, how can we make this better? We're trying to make the best game possible.
It's probably not the way a huge team would work efficiently, but I think it gives everybody a voice, and it tunes things as part of the process, which I think ends up being up to something better.
Earlier, you mentioned looking at doing new Myst, like mugs and posters, prints, and other merchandise. The museum replicas from Riven were super awesome, but obviously very expensive, so I understand not being able to bring those back, except for the moiety knives. They were small and simple, and only like $15. Is there any way you could look at bringing those back? Because those would sell like friggin' hotcakes.
I'll look into it, definitely. I mean, I'll definitely look into it. I know that we've talked about some other free printed items too, and they're still on my radar.
Well, would sculptural collectibles be popular? Would anyone want to have like a paperweight kind of thing?
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Just FYI on merchandise, the only reason it kind of comes and goes is it's not a huge revenue source. Well, let me put it this way: we don't make money, but that's not the point of it. It's just whether or not we can be distracted with it or not. And Ryan has kind of taken on, let's get it back in, because we've got Abduction coming out, and this seems to have some popularity, and we've got mobile platforms, and so it's more for you guys, and plus we like having swag too. So it's not really a revenue thing, but we would love to make stuff available that people want.
Hi. Taking art, story, and puzzles into account, does everybody have a favorite age or Riven Island?
This is going to seem weird, but by the way, if I put on my puzzle hat, which I do, I love the psychology of the puzzle thing. I mean, I like it all. We all like it all. But if I put on just the puzzle hat, I think this is going to seem weird, but I like Helenetic and how. I don't think it's necessarily all my favorite in all the aspects, but I like how the puzzles were in one aspect sound puzzles, and even when you thought you weren't, I've said this before, like with the maze runner, even when you got to the bottom and you were frustrated, like, what is this, a maze? It's like, no, everything here has to do with the sound. Even getting here had to do with sound. So I liked how that all kind of got packaged up and played. And then In Myst Online in particular, I like, one of my favorites is Anane. Yeah. I really like the way that worked. So that's me.
I guess we can go around. I have a toss-up. Channelwood or Cadence. Those are amazing. Just visually stunning, makes you want to explore more. And the puzzles were better than I like, so.
So Blake? I would say Cage as well. Just overall visually, it's the most appealing to me. Puzzles were just fantastic on that one.
Cool.
Probably a toss-up between mechanical from the original and I don't know. I still got a soft spot for Delmer.
Yeah. So yeah, I would be Channelwood from the original. Man, Uru, probably on Renee. Arcade-ish one to two there. Myst 5 would be to Delmer. That was pretty awesome. My favorite world in production is Hunrad.
Is me.
But all of them. Anyone else? Well, got any favorites?
Anime as it came out, as designed, the body is what they were supposed to be.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, those original designs for those.
I like Tesla.
Yeah.
Black
Yeah, that's like the PT of Myst. is that's not.
One more question.
Okay, I was going to say two, but one more question.
We can do two more questions.
Are there two people lined up, so two questions.
Okay.
My name is Max. I've been a huge fan of Myst since the beginning, and I just want to say I love how Abduction is a new story, so we can sort of recreate that feeling of playing Myst for the first time. And so I just wanted to ask if, when you're designing worlds and levels, if there's sort of a battle between trying to make levels that feel like they would be in Myst and levels that feel completely unlike anything that would have been in Myst. And then sort of as a subsection of that, will there be a lighthouse in this game?
I can add.
The design process, I think, is not trying to make anything feel or look like Myst, but we're drawing on our history, which is closely tied with that in a lot of ways. So some of the stuff dribbles out.
Oh no. I guess that was the last question.
Try adjusting the slider.
We need more volume. Well, I guess that's the end of it. I'm gonna. I'm gonna call Ryan real quick and just maybe put him on speakerphone. Hey, the stream died, so I'm gonna put you on speakerphone to say goodbye. Let's see, speakerphone.
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like everyone has left.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for taking the time out of the day to chat with us and show us the teaser. And now we...
Yeah, hey, we want to thank you guys. This is, again, I hope you can hear me, but...
Yep, we can hear you.
We're, okay, blown away by the support that you guys provide us, both with the new stuff and the old stuff, and it's amazing. I mean, you guys think we're celebrities, but really, you guys are the heart and soul of what keeps us going. So it's really cool that you guys do this on your own, and we're happy to support you. We are excited about Abduction and getting something new in everybody's hands as well. We can't wait to see how you like it. But yeah, thanks so much for kind of giving us the energy to keep going. It's awesome.
Okay, and I think we'll end it there. So thanks again.
Thank you guys. Bye.